Join author and former Vibe editor-in-chief Danielle Smith and Black Girl Songbook as she celebrates and uplifts the talent of Black women in the music industry. Tune in for in-depth discussions with your favorite songwriters, producers, and artists, as well as anecdotes from Danielle. Plus, you'll hear the songs of Black women who changed the landscape of American music forever. Check out Black Girl Songbook exclusively on Spotify.
Welcome to Bachelor Party, night 2 of this extravaganza, explosive week in paradise. I'm here with Callie. Hi, Callie.
Hello.
There's so much to parse. In fact, I wasn't sure I'd be able to do this podcast today, but we had to because there's just so much going on. And I was just like, we can't not talk about this. This is the best week of Bachelor content in quite some time.
Yeah.
We have to dig into it. I mean, so much happened. What was like the best part for you?
Oh my God. The best part. I feel like there were so many good parts.
I mean, there really were. That's why I'm asking. I mean,
also,
there was like
it's
so
like
much.
Yeah. Some of the good was like, I don't know if it was good. There was like parts where I was like, I don't want to watch this. And I like obviously kept watching, but like, it was just there was more cringe, like close your eyes moments in this episode than like, which makes it so awesome. But
yeah, exactly. That's what you're looking for in reality TV. I cringed every time Titus Burgess said tight ass party. And I was like, what is that a saying? What is that? Why did he keep saying that? I just miss David Spade. It's all I want to throw out there.
Yeah, David Spade was great. Previews for next week. Lil Jon seems like he's bringing good energy. We'll see.
Love Lil Jon.
I don't like how they're like making the host talk about themselves a little bit. Like, well, they had Lance with the NSYNC music. I don't remember them really doing that with David Spade, and that's maybe what I liked about him. Like, it seemed less about him and more about the show. Like,
well, Demi was like, Joe Dirt, okay. That was sort of like all we got. But yeah, maybe because he's more famous than the other two or something.
More than Lance?
I don't know. I think it depends on your age, probably. Lance is probably more famous to these people. Although, yeah, I don't know what David Spade is like most famous for at this point. To me, it's still Tommy Boy and Black Sheep and Saturday Night Live. But like, I don't know what he's famous for other people. Like, what's your David Spade association?
Probably Tommy Boy.
I mean, it's a great movie. Fat man in a little.
Yeah, but yeah, I would say that he's not famous for under 30.
Yeah, I mean, Debbie thought he's from Joe Dirt, so.
Also,
I guess he's in a really popular.
Someone thought he was Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, Tammy thought he was Dave Chappelle, which is hilarious.
Okay, yeah.
He was in The Wrong Missy, which I think was very popular on Netflix, though I didn't watch it. Anyway, back to the show. Back to the show. It was a little bit too much Titus Burgess for our liking, but the rest was fantastic. But is tight ass party a saying? Do people say that?
No, I don't know.
Not to your knowledge.
Not to my knowledge.
I consider you cooler than me, so if it were, you would know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But I think the proof is in the pudding.
Just to like, I think all of the hosts have done like a fine job. I feel like the producers are making them do things that I'm like, why are you making them do that?
Right. I don't know either. And also, I miss the entrances. Let me only get like some of them. Like when Titus Burgess talked to, I think it was Alana, right? He was like,
oh, yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah.
It's just bizarre. Oh, and then in Chelsea, but like we didn't see Chelsea's entrance, I believe. I don't know.
We didn't. We just saw her coming down the steps.
I know. She's just so striking. You know, she doesn't need an introduction. Her top I was like, are those sleeves attached? I had to like pause it to like understand her shirt.
Her legs are amazing.
So long. Yeah. So long. Yeah.
How tall is she?
I think she's 6 feet.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. I was like, goodness, they keep talking about how tall, like they were making her seem like an Amazon.
Well, I think most of these women are tiny. I mean, compared to Demi, she's probably like, a foot taller.
Yeah.
If I had to guess. I mean, but that's why Aaron was so excited to see her.
I think a lot of guys seem to think that she was very pretty. I think she's very pretty. So, I mean, she's a model. So clearly a lot of people think she's pretty.
Her modeling profile says she's 5'11" and a half.
Yeah.
And then she always wears heels. All right, let's get it. We're just like beating around the bush. Chris and Alana, what the fuck? I mean, who are these people? This whole thing was so weird.
I didn't even think about that. Like, I mean, the whole thing was, from beginning to end, like him just going in for a kiss 3 seconds in, I was like, wait, what?
We had to have missed something. Did he really just immediately kiss her? Like, what the hell?
But I think that's why everyone's like, you clearly had something before this.
Right.
Because he kissed her within like 30 seconds of sitting down.
I know. And he just like went to her right away. It was really confusing, but also, was he drunk? Like,
yeah.
Because
I was like, was he drunk? Because then the next morning he woke up and was like moping around, but she wasn't there yet. So maybe part of him was like, what if she doesn't even come? And then I'm stuck here without her. And like, I just really messed up with Jessenia. So I have to pretend like I'm so sad about it.
Yeah. His sad beach walk was pretty dramatic and ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I didn't occur to me that he was hungover in that moment, but you're so right. Like he might have been having the hangover blues when like you're depressed and like feeling crappy and you forget that alcohol is depressive and you're wondering why you're having such a bad day. And it's like, oh, right, because I was wasted last night.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like the only explanation because he doesn't seem like a mean guy. But what he did to Jessenia, just making out in front of her, is so messed up.
Yeah. Also, she's very sweet. So it's not like it's someone who, like, listen, I want women to stand up for themselves or whatever. But, like, if it happened to Demi, I'd be like, I don't feel as bad because, like, Demi would do the same thing to the guy, right?
Yeah.
But, like, Jessenia would never do that to him. Or Ivan, for example.
Yeah, like, she was upfront with Ivan when it was time to be like, sorry, I'm into Chris. Like, she had handled it in a proper, mature way of, like, talking to Ivan about it directly. So he wasn't, like, caught off guard or whatever. I mean, and I guess the main thing, though, is like, though Chris was barely on television previously, he seems to have made a lot of connections since he hung out with both Jessenia and Alana before Paradise.
Yeah, like, I mean, he's like
really milking it.
He's swimming in the Bachelor pool. And
yes, absolutely.
I think we also missed, because it seemed like people had such strong opinions, and obviously they can't show us everything. He must have had multiple conversations with multiple people about followers and like how, like Joe said he talked to him about how to be popular. Like, ugh.
I know that was pretty bizarre. I talked about this with Jared on the previous episode. That like everyone just talking about like Instagram followers and like getting clout now is kind of weird. Like I think I have to do it because it's a big part of the ecosystem of the show now, but it is still jarring to be like, oh, they're just talking about their Instagram following. It's not even like pretend
a
anymore.
Secret. Yeah. But also part of me is like, let's be very clear. 90% of people that go on this show, that's part of the package that they want going on the show.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
There's no other reason to go on the show.
Right. Because
unless like there's like one-offs, like, you know, do I think that Michael A went on the show for Instagram followers? No, but afterwards, was he happy about it? He wasn't mad.
Yeah, definitely not mad. I'm sure he was happy about it.
Yeah, so I think there are like, you know, one-offs where people are actually just like someone signed them up for the show and they got picked and whatever and it happens. But like it is part of the thing. So I'm like, all you guys get off your high horse. Everybody wants followers. Like whatever. Would I have a conversation about it? No.
Yeah, I know. I was checking out Chris's tagged pics when I was watching the show, and there is a picture of him with both Alana and Jessenia, like I guess hanging out in San Diego back in
together
May before the show. Yeah, it's a group picture. Katie's in it too. So is Chasen. So is Tammy. So is this? It's a picture from this guy Brett Vergara, who is a Bachelor personality. He's been on this pod before.
Yeah,
so
I think
they all know each other.
Yeah, I think that's what Jessenia was talking about. That Alana like threw herself at Chris when they were hanging out in San Diego.
Right. That must have been it. San Diego is like a new Bachelor hub, which is not surprising in any way.
I also just don't. Oh, but okay. I don't get why Jessenia likes Chris in the first place. And then this happens, and I was like, yeah, like you could see he was like, you know, kind of a douche when he walked in. Yeah. So like, am I surprised? No.
He's a smoke bro. Of course.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, he came in with Chasen, did the smoke show bit, like. I'm not surprised whatsoever. Also, his conversation is horrible.
Yeah, but to say like he doesn't seem to have any good conversations. Even the zip lining date with Alana.
Oh my gosh.
Also, ziplining, I'm like a scaredy cat. I don't like to do a lot of like adventurous things. Ziplining, not scary. Like just fun. I don't know. I felt like he was really overestimating. Yeah. Like, it's not a big deal. Seems great. I guess you could fall, but like tourism is built on those things not breaking. So you're going to be okay.
Yeah. No, ziplining doesn't scare me either. I think it's fun. But I also was just like listening to what he was saying to Alana, and I was just like, what? Like, you have nothing else to say?
Yeah. I don't know anything
like he was
about
like,
him.
Do you think you're safe? Do you think you're going to get this rose? Like,
yeah. I know. He's so like inside the game. He's got nothing else to talk about. Maybe he thinks that will keep him on screen. I don't know otherwise. Like, I don't get it. It's the whole thing is very confusing. We don't know anything about him. What's like at all.
But beyond, okay, whatever. So that happens. He's not great. I cannot believe how worked up Joe and Riley got. Were they drunk?
They had to have been. Joe is like so chatty now. He must be just boozing more. And also maybe he's happy because he's found love.
Yeah, it seems like he is actually like pretty happy with Serena.
Yeah, definitely.
But I was like, what is going on? Like Riley was like, get the fuck out. Like, why don't you chase after her? Blah, blah. I was like, is what is going on right now? Well, and Chris didn't respond.
I know. Chris, that's the thing about Chris that is so lame is he didn't fight for anything. He's just like, okay, I'm leaving. And then he put his arm around Alana being like, if you want me to stay, when he's like, if you want me to stay, I will. It's just so awkward. That's the other thing about them is like, she had to like direct him for their kiss, you know? And she was like, don't let my head go back.
I know. It was so awkward.
They don't seem to have any physical chemistry. But my main takeaway is that everyone must love Jessenia because they are just jumping to her defense in a way that like just she must be really well liked because they're not doing that for Natasha as we know.
Yes, but I also think Chris was going out of his way to be like multiple people said. He said, "We're the strongest couple in here. Right. I came to paradise for Jessenia." So like he had led her so far down this path of like, we're leaving together. Like, I think that's what everyone assumed based on how he was acting. He also like took her from Ivan. So like
another really well-liked person.
Yeah. So like he broke up a pretty great couple that people also thought was strong. And I think people got over that because they were like, well, they're clearly like, you know, they're going to go to the end together. They really like each other, blah, blah, blah. So for them, the very first time he has an opportunity, he's making out with her in front of Jessenia. Like, I feel like it was, I can understand why people are more upset about that than the Brendan situation.
It seems like a double standard to me because if the crux of it was,
here we go.
We are not aligned. We are not aligned, which is good for podcasting. So let's get into it. Here's the thing. If the crux of it is, Chris, you lied. You actually you weren't into Jessenia the way that you said you were. And now you're coupled up with Alana. Because Jessenia was like, they're going to keep giving each other roses back and forth. I'm like, as she said that, and I like Jessenia, I'm like, yeah, that's the point of the show. That's how it works. You give each other roses back and forth. They're like, so they might as well just go. And it's like the same with Pieper and Brendan. They're clearly a couple. He was not upfront about what was going on with them. Even if like people knew, he said certain things that have proven to not be true. And so I just don't understand why they were given a few days of like, okay, do your thing. And like Piper's like hanging out with everyone and Brendan's just, you know, back to wearing his muscle tanks and whatnot. And I don't understand why people aren't as outraged. Like is it because they like Pieper? I don't get it.
No, I think that, well, one, yes. I think Brendan has real friends. Like Ivan wouldn't even say anything bad about him when Natasha was begging everyone to say one single thing bad about Brendan, just going from person to person being like, someone bash him for me. But so I think Brendan has friends and then Pieper has real friends. So people are like leaving them alone.
Right.
But so I think that's point one. Like that's one reason why people are leaving them alone because they won't have like a whole group against them.
Sure.
Two, I think a lot of people we heard about it. People knew about the Pieper situation. It wasn't like Natasha is like, oh my God, I can't believe the way that she's acting. Like you can believe it because you were told about it 20 times from 20 different people. Like there's, you know, we don't see everything. So there's probably even more conversation about it than we even saw. Like when she told Joe was like, I mean, you knew. And like
Joe just dropping the truth bombs now.
And when Joe knew, she was like, I mean, no. And he was like, you had an idea. So I'm like, okay, the way that Joe, who I think is pretty rational minus his 2-on-1 on Chris, pretty rational dude, was like, does it suck? Yeah. Did he mislead you a little bit? Sure. Are you completely blindsided? No. You knew kind of what you were signing up for.
Yeah. It just seems like Brendan must have really convinced her otherwise. I don't know. I'm choosing to believe Natasha. Maybe it's because I really feel for her. I just feel like the situation Natasha is in is my own personal worst nightmare, where like you think that you have a connection with someone, you know there might be another woman, he tells you, he downplays it, and you kind of like talk yourself into the relationship, and then like reality hits you because the other woman shows up. And I just feel like it's just, that would be so horrible. And so I just feel for her so hard. And I would be like, if I were Natasha or Jessenia, I would not just be angry. I would be like so just like distraught. And I don't know. I feel like they're handling it a lot better than I would.
No, I feel like if Natasha was handling it differently, I would be like, that really sucks. Because clearly he did downplay it. I will say he downplayed it. I'm not going to say he didn't do that. He may have lied a little bit, but I don't think it was like he made any like he wasn't like, I'm leaving with you. I don't think Brendan was making it seem like you're the one for me by any means.
Yeah.
I also think that if she had interest in somebody else, like I think Mari and Kenny were way further along than Natasha and
Brendan. Yeah.
Brendan. Yeah. And Mari being like, oh, I want to go talk to somebody else, or Kenny going and doing that. Like Natasha could have gone and spoke to somebody else. She could have, if someone came in and asked her on a date, she would have been able to go. It's not like Brendan was like shutting that down at all.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it where I'm like, Natasha, you could have done things differently. I think that there is maybe a small percentage of her that also was like, he's going to keep giving me the rose. I'm going to give him the rose. Like I can stay on not the island.
I know. I think that way too.
I can stay at the beach until someone does come in that I have a connection with. Because even now, her and Brendan are done. She hasn't talked to a single person.
Well, we've seen. Come on, that we've seen. And this is like
sure, but
in a certain way.
Yes, for sure. But I feel like if she were showing interest in anybody, they would show it. She's not, and that's fine. I don't think she has a connection with any of the guys on the beach, which is fine. Like Deandra doesn't, so it's not like she has to like make something out of nothing. But like, it wasn't the worst situation for her to be in because she probably would have gone home.
She also probably likes Brendan and was like hoping it would work out. I feel like she just talked herself into it, like, and not in like a. I feel like that happens in a lot of relationships, like a lot of time in dating. One person's like more into it than the other, but also like. Who else should I mean, maybe Ivan, but like seems like they're friends. They don't have like a romantic connection. I'm like, who else is there that like she should be going after? I'm like, it's actually like not a great crop of men, in my opinion. Like
right now, yeah.
I mean, Thomas, great, but he's with Becca.
Yeah, I mean, like she could try with Thomas. She could try with Aaron. She could try with Ivan. She could have tried with
Aaron sooner, I guess. But
she could try with
Tammy right away. I don't know.
James. I mean,
James seems nice. James is total friend rose guy. Like he just seems like a nice dude, but
yeah,
I don't know. I thought Natasha just like
there are options. Do I think that she was like, or I could hang out and flirt with this really hot guy who is clearly going to keep giving me the rose? Yeah, I'm going to do that until there's someone that I'm like, I really, really like. I'm not mad at her for that at all.
Sure.
I'm just saying, do I think that was part of it? And maybe she was hoping Pieper doesn't come. Maybe she was hoping like, I'll get more time with him and he'll start to like me enough that he won't leave if Pieper does come. Sure. I'm not saying that. They spent a lot of time together, but I'm like, you did know about Pieper. You did know it was a thing. He did say they hung out and that he liked hanging out with her. Everyone on the beach is kind of like, I mean.
Yeah. I think the crux of it, what you said before, is that Pieper and Brandon have friends there. So like people like don't want to get rid of them. Whereas like Chris and Alana have no allies. Yes.
They knew about Pieper because everyone knew about Pieper.
Right.
I even sent you a TikTok that was like Natasha podcasts about the Bachelor's drama, whatever. She definitely knew that they had hung out.
Yes. I'm sure she did know that. But he probably told her that it was like, we saw, like he said, it was not a big deal. But the thing, I just don't trust him because in one of their conversations, he was like, and I told you that this is as a friend. And she was like, but you didn't say that. And he immediately admits that he didn't. So I just think that he's like, he's just shady. Also,
in his conversation with Pieper, you could tell he was like, listen, I had to downplay it a little bit. Yeah. So like, yes, he did downplay their thing so that whatever. I think that if the reason they're sending Chris and Alana home is because they're like, why did you come here? Mm-hmm. That's the exact same reason why you would tell Brendan and Pieper to go home. Yeah. But I feel like the reason they're mad at Chris and Alana is because Chris led Jessenia on so far, took her away from Ivan. She's crying. Everyone loves Jessenia. No one even knows Chris and Alana. And
they have no allies.
Yeah. And then he's so rude and makes out with Alana 2 minutes after she gets there in front of Jessenia. Like the way he handled all of that, on top of him talking about followers to 1 million people and how to be like famous and how to be liked, like they were just like at their limit with them.
I don't get the motivation for asking those questions. Like that's like something I fundamentally don't understand. Maybe because like I do not want to be pushing product on Instagram. I mean, I'm open to some product, but like I don't, you know, and by that I mean Jordan brand clothing, Spindrift seltzer, and Bubbly seltzer. Those are the 3 brands I'd love to be, and Nike obviously 4th that I'd love to be an ambassador for. But other than that, like I don't understand just like committing your life to getting followers and like doing that. I don't know. Okay. I just don't get it.
My turn, just to let everyone know what I'm open to for any brands listening. I am open to pushing product completely on Instagram that aligns with things that I like. I won't do something random. And also as long as like dollars match, you know what I mean? Like if there's something that makes sense, I'll do it. But would I ever
what would make sense though? What would make sense?
Money-wise?
No, brand-wise. I'm just trying to understand.
Oh, brand-wise. What would I do? Oh, I would do Lululemon in a heartbeat. Gosh, I don't think I've ever thought about this.
Well,
what do I spend a lot of money? Oh, I would do a GOAT partnership in a like less than a second. GOAT or StockX. I'm like a huge sneakerhead.
Gotcha. I was like, goats? Like yoga?
No. Gotcha. GOAT, the sneaker app. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Cool. Hit us up, brands. We're available. Just DM me. Check all my DMs.
It's worth, trying. You never know.
It's like me, Russell Westbrook, Michael Jordan, and we're good to go. The big 3 of Jordan brands.
Also, there's always random ones. Like I would do one with Crumble Cookie.
What's that?
Like the best cookies ever. Oh, they have to have them in New York. They have to.
They come out at the grocery store or what?
Absolutely not. This is a brand that recently started probably in the last 2 years. I'm making that up, but I think so. And they come out with new flavors every Monday.
Wow.
They're the best, only 6 flavors a week. So you have 6 flavors all week long. They change every Monday. They're the best cookies I've ever had in my life.
Okay. I'm going to have to find one in the tri-state area.
Seth and I wake up and look on Monday, what flavors do they have? And then we order a box.
There's none in the New York area.
There wasn't any in Philly either, but they have them in Dallas.
Damn. All right. Well,
move to Philly.
Crumble Cookie. Get to know Callie.
But yeah.
Anyway, so I don't understand Chris just being like, so how do I do it, man? And maybe he asked Joe because Joe is also voted out the first night. And Chris is like, I need to ask the man who also got no screen time how the game is played. But I don't know. I just found the whole thing totally
but
ridiculous.
Also what is Joe going to say? Honestly, I didn't play a game. I was myself on Bachelors in Paradise and it ended up going great for me.
Yeah. Also, for some reason, people did like him after the first night. I think a catchy name really helps. Grocery Store Joe, I
mean, he's also just comes across so authentic, whereas Chris could never.
Yeah, I know. He just he's cooked up in a lab to be on reality TV and have an interest in Instagram followers. And I don't know. He also he was so awkward with Alana. They have no chemistry. I don't get it. Is there something that we're not seeing?
Has to be.
Very, very confusing.
I mean, he is he's not my type, but he's a good looking guy.
I think he's very cute. Yeah, I agree. I'm not personally fiending for him, but he's objectively quite handsome.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about the party just in general. So This reminded me of like my 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C., when it was like a room that was too big for the number of people. And it's like everyone knows each other. And it's just sort of like there's not that much excitement here. Plus, they introduced the new women, but it was just seemed like extremely awkward. And I don't know. If everyone's just like in a dance circle and they're like showing off their moves one at a time, is that really fun? I don't know.
Also, Demi's moves. Speaking of,
the Demi situation is super depressing. Just sad.
But no, yeah, the party. I just thought the whole thing was weird. I don't like how they call it a VIP and then invited a lot of the cool kids. It kind of seemed like.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't like that. It was just weird. The whole thing was weird. The random performance, also, did you see how they were dancing? It was so strange. They were like holding hands and like doing the twist.
I loved when Becca was like, I love this song. I was like, you do? How do you know it? No. I actually have heard of Olivia Holt, but I didn't know that she had a new single out. She's a Disney person, essentially. So I feel like it's like corporate synergy, ABC, Disney, whatever.
But like, just a random, the whole thing was so strange.
Also, I felt bad for Olivia Holt. She's on stage. She has no band, probably because of COVID. And she's like singing over some track and just seemed awkward for everyone.
Also to like 14 people.
Yeah. Also, so strange they don't tell you the 4 who come in. Like, it's McKenna and Alea are both there. And they got a lot of screen time on Pieper season, both of them. And they're just like not mentioned.
Gone. They're just gone.
They're just gone. It's like they tested it out, didn't stick, and they're out already. Yeah. Kind of crazy. That's
actually probably smart from the producers.
I mean, I think this has been a very well produced show so far. Just like it's just like every minute it's packing a punch. Even this episode, I was like, God, this is a come down after the Natasha Brendan Pieper fireworks, and I was like, nope, ended up great.
It seems like they're making decisions on the fly more instead of it being planned out. Like they're like, Joe and Serena seem very strong. Let's drop in Kendall. Yeah. Natasha and Brendan finally kissed. Let's drop in Pieper. Like, it just seems very responsive to what's happening.
Yeah. And also multiple dates at the same time. I really like that. Like,
oh, yeah.
There's like multiple things happening. So Chelsea and Aaron are off while Thomas and Becca are off. That's a really good idea. It's having
I also liked how Aaron responded to finding out that Thomas was on the date. Not much of a reaction. He must really like Chelsea.
Yeah.
Also, in the previews for next week, it doesn't seem like Thomas and Aaron get into it. It seems like Tammy and Thomas have like a little tiff. But maybe Aaron,
found love.
Maybe. I think him and Chelsea would be really cute.
Oh, yeah.
I still don't think Aaron has like great conversation, but people seem to love him. So I'm like, I don't think the producers are just like giving him the time.
He seems very young to me. I'm like, oh, Becca probably moved on because he's just immature. That's okay.
That makes sense.
He'll grow up eventually. Maybe he won't, but he seems like a nice guy.
How old is he?
I like him and Chelsea. He's 26.
Oh, he is young.
Thomas does seem like a mature 28. I think that might be one of the reasons.
He's only 28?
Yes.
How old is Becca?
She's 30. Maybe 31.
I thought Thomas was older.
I thought it was great when she was like, I don't know how much you know about me. And he was like, the good news is I don't know anything. And that seemed really genuine. I believe that. I believe it from listening to him on Mike and Brian's talking it out. Like, it does seem like he doesn't know anything. And I thought he was very sweet with her in that conversation. I have to say, Becca, I always thought seemed nice and normal. And like, I interviewed her and it was very pleasant. But like, there was just sort of like, it was like, this is a nice, normal person. She seems like she's really come out of her shell. And she seems like way more fun and like, just like a great friend and a great hang. I'm kind of shocked, but like it's nice to see.
She seems like, I like how she's like all the drama that's happened. Like she went and like talked to Natasha. Like I feel like she really wants to make sure people are okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's part of her being the Bachelor though, and just knowing like this shit can like really mess with you. So I feel like she's like overly protective of people. Like even her going to talk to Tammy, I thought that was really sweet. And a lot of the girls would not have done it or handled it the way that she did. Because she was like, I want to make sure our friendship is okay. Like, yes, I'm interested. But I don't know. I really like Becca. On top of her being super pretty to me, I think she looks amazing.
She looked great, yeah.
She's getting a lot of screen time because she's like being funny. She's being nice. She's being a really good person, it seems. So I am a fan of Becca Ware. I don't know if I wasn't not a fan, but I don't know if I really cared about her.
Same. I was just sort of like, it's like, okay, Becca, she's cool. She was really like vanilla to me, but now it seems like she really has got a personality and she's like come out of her shell. And I don't know, Garrett sucks. So I'm really happy she's no longer with him.
Yeah.
That had to be a big, when you are like engaged and you think it's like, this is it. And then it ends, it must be really like a hard reset because you have like a vision of your life and then it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And like she moved to California for him, but I don't know. Seems like she's doing great. So she doesn't need our sympathy.
Yeah. Also, I think her and Thomas look so good together.
Yeah, I mean, he looks great. Although very sweaty man, which not although, but he's a very sweaty man. So, really coming out.
Yeah, his sweat doesn't bother me probably because I like him so much, but also his skin is so clear that like
you can see it all.
Yeah, but also I'm just like, it's fine. Like when skin's not clear and you're sweating, you're like, ugh.
Yeah, it's true. Can we talk about Kenny and Demi and Mari?
Yeah, apparently people think Kenny is like.
He is not my type. I was just snapping. Sorry to the listener. I don't know why I was doing that.
I do think he seems like he's like a fun time. So I'll give him that. He seems like he's a fun time.
Does he? What makes you think that other than his nakedness?
I mean, the nakedness is a big part of that. But no, I just feel like he's like down for whatever. He's like older. I don't know. He seems like he's fun to be around. I can't imagine him having like a super serious conversation. Although when he like broke it off with Demi, I feel like he handled it really well.
Yeah.
And she was not handling it well.
Her sort of like continual pleas to be like, let's go to the boom boom room is incredibly horrible. And I hope that Demi finds some more worth in herself other than just sex. Like that's what it felt like. And it was just so hard to watch. And then when he ends things with her and she just starts like insulting Mari and like calling her like self-centered and stuck up. And it's just like, it's not really Mari's fault. Like this is Demi's the one who will tell you this is how it goes. And also that's just not the way to do it. I feel like that's not going to like help you win this guy over, even if like you're feeling that way. It's just not a good strategy.
Well, also I'm like, do you want a guy to change his mind because you just bashed the girl, or do you want him to just pick you? Yeah. Like you just want to be picked. I get her being upset, obviously.
Yeah,
I also like, part of me is like, if she really enjoys sex, I have no problem.
Of course
Go
not.
to the boo-boo room, do what you want to do. I would just think like at a certain point of him saying no, maybe ask someone else.
Yeah, there's nothing. I'm not trying to slut shame at all. I support people who love sex, having sex whenever they want to. But I'm just saying, as like a tactic to kind of like keep him on the line, it was just made me sad. And also, like you were saying, like instead of sort of like making herself seem great and putting herself in the best light possible, she is trashing Mari and trying to use the boom boom room, and that's just like sad to watch.
But I think that's what I was like. When I was watching it, I was like, I can't tell if she's just like, this is like her like last like try. It's like, you know, a little desperate to do this. Or if she's just like, I really liked having sex with him. I want to have sex with him again. So I'm like, I can't tell. So if she really likes doing it, great. If not, and you think this is going to keep him, I promise you, the best sex in the world is not going to change a guy's mind. He would enjoy it one more time, though. He might take you up on the boo-boo room one more time, but he's not going to change his mind.
Yeah, and he also obviously liked Mari from the beginning, but just sort of got confused and didn't really want to like chase after her. Maybe he likes being chased.
I really like Mari, except for her like 1.5 episodes of like Spiral. I actually really like Mari, and I think she might be like the prettiest person to me on the beach. I think she's beautiful. So pretty.
She is absolutely beautiful. This is a very beautiful group of women. I think they're all just, actually like, very pretty. They're
very good looking girls.
Like they're all like way above average.
Great bodies. Yeah. God.
And like also a lot of like different styles too, which I enjoy. I don't know. It's like there's a wide range, but yeah, everyone is stunning.
I would really appreciate like a little bit of thickness.
Sure. Me too. I mean,
I I think thick girls are pretty. Also thick girls are in. So I'm like, it'd be great to have just like, you know, just sprinkle in a few.
Mari's got a little bit.
Oh, sure. Have you seen her on TikTok?
No, I haven't. As you know,
she's very thin.
I mean, they all.
But seeing her on TikTok, because on the show I do think she's probably one of the thicker ones in a great way. And then I saw her on TikTok and I was like, that's how small the other girls are.
Yeah, I know.
Like if this is her, and she's like the girl I think is thicker.
I once took a picture with Hannah B, and it was a bad angle, but moreover, like I'm a normal sized human and she's a bachelor sized human, and it was just like such an appalling photo.
How tall is she?
I had to burn it. She was probably 5'4". Yeah, she's not that tall.
Wow, she really looks tall.
I think that her proportions maybe make her look that way. I don't know. But yeah, I think, just back to that point, that is a major criticism of The Bachelor, which I think is really valid, which is that like they have no size representation whatsoever, even if they're improving with diversity. And I do think one of the best things about this season of Paradise is it's super diverse and it's not a talking point. Like it's just, this is the show, and that we kind of talked about this before. It's just more fun to watch that way. Like it's cool.
I mean, this is easily one of the best seasons so
Absolutely. Far. And like, yeah, because it's like a wide range of people, and it's been really fun. And body diversity is a huge issue in the show, men and women. I mean, it's like ridiculous. And I understand that like people who are on screens tend to be above average in terms of looks, like all screens, but still it is a huge criticism. And I think a very valid one.
You don't want to like, I don't know, you don't want to isolate anyone either and like just make one like a token bigger person, and then they're like
when they would have like one black person, like
and they're voted off week 2. Yeah.
So but hopefully we'll get there one day. There's actually a novel about this too. Anyway, called One to Watch. But we were talking about Kenny and Mari. My thing about Kenny, I just don't get it. I don't find him attractive. I don't really see it, but him and Mari seem really into each other. I do think that he like seems to really pay attention when people talk to him, which is probably my favorite thing about him, like more so than some of the other guys. I feel like he makes eye contact. I feel like he locks in. So I always like that, but I don't know. I'm surprised he's the hottest, like one of the hottest commodities. We haven't even talked about Tia.
Yeah, I was gonna say it seemed like all the like a bunch of girls were interested in him. Mari and Demi are going out of their way to pursue him. And like, there are other good options available. So I'm like, he has to have something. So I'm going with, I mean, he's obviously in awesome shape, but
yeah, he might be a really nice guy.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I have to assume it's something more than that. So he does seem to me like fun, and yeah, maybe he's just a really nice guy. I don't know.
Me neither. Who's to say? But it seems to be working for him.
I mean, he has to be somewhat of a nice guy because you can see him, like, he doesn't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Yeah.
You can see that.
And I do think he's handled the Demi stuff well, like you said. Like, he's been pretty upfront and doesn't seem like he's led her on at all. Like, he said no when he's, seems to be on the fence and whatnot. So that's good. That's
also, even the Mari went nuts. Like, he even handled that well and was like, you told me you wanted to explore.
Yeah.
Like, he's never made excuses or whatever. Like, I feel like he's pretty transparent, upfront, nice guy. Like, I don't know if I would be happy if someone threw my cake in a fire.
I would be pissed. I love cake. I would be like, I wanted to eat that. What the hell? I love sweets. Also, they're probably so sick of the food.
Riley was like, wait, what?
I know. Riley's been an all-star of this season. His screen time is low, but he really makes it count. Like every moment he's on.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah, he's bringing it. It's like he's a high efficiency player. Every moment he's on, he's like contributing something good. I actually sort of liked his dance moves at the party, though I didn't like anyone else's. And I think that him and Marissa like are just so cute. He seems really into him. Also, I loved when she must have been drunk, but I loved when she was crying. Like, who cries over someone they met 5 days ago? And I was like, great point, Marissa.
Also, at that point, like Jessenia was crying, she was crying. I was like, they're all losing it right now.
They're losing it, and then
meanwhile, I feel like Wells is just like la 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 la. Like it is like, and then they kept like flashing to Riley, like very like innocently dancing, and she's like, I can't trust him. No. I'm like, meanwhile, your dude is like behaving perfectly.
I really hope they're still together. If they're not, that's okay too. But like, it would be.
I feel
wonderful
like they are.
I hope so. He's a catch. I mean, the man's a lawyer. we know he's like emotional. He seems like he treats her well. I look forward to their whipped cream situation next week. It's like,
ew, not the feet.
The feet was weird. Oh my God.
Not the feet.
On the beach. I'm like, how much is he washing his feet to get the sand off?
No, I couldn't do it. Also, top it all off, he can for sure do a one-handed push-up.
Oh yeah, his arms are insane. Those are definitely, as we discussed, it's like he's been working out a lot since he was on Tayshia's season.
I mean, he was big on Tayshia's season, and I feel like he took it to another level. Yeah,
absolutely. But he's great. When I saw the foot thing, I should have known you'd been disgusted, but I was just like, oh, they're in a sandy environment. That's awful. I hope they're like fresh out of washing their feet or something. Gross.
I can't think of a situation where I'm sucking someone's toe.
Ever?
Never, ever. I don't like feet. I don't like germs.
Okay. Do you wear sandals, or are you like a type of person who doesn't like to have toes exposed?
I wear sandals. I think it is not okay. I genuinely don't think it's okay to wear sandals or anything with your feet exposed on an airplane. It's not respectful to other people on the plane.
So my move in the summer is I wear sandals, but I bring socks. And when I get on the plane, I put my socks on right away.
Yeah, I guess I could be okay with that. But
you want to know what? It's not for the other people. It's for me. My feet get cold on planes. It's like for my own comfort.
Yeah, I just think it's so selfish for people to have their feet out on planes. Like, planes are disgusting enough. They end up putting their feet on like the armrest or on the back of the chair. It's just disgusting.
They do.
Disgusting.
One thing in COVID, I do not fucking miss flying. That I was thinking about Alana when she was like, I just got here 24 hours ago. And I was just thinking how annoyed I would have been if I were her. And she's like, she had to travel. I'm sure they don't put you in first or business. I'm sure it's just coach. And then she's got a quarantine. And then she goes to the party. Her man's with someone else. She's hated on the beach, and then she has to leave because this dude messed it up for her. To be fair, I don't like her either, but I feel like Chris really fucked things up for her.
Yeah, I think she's done with the Bachelor franchise. I also feel like I thought she was going to stay.
She should have. That would have made people like her, so she can be like, listen, I came in here with good intentions. He didn't. It's not my fault. But I guess she was into him. I don't know. It doesn't seem like they actually know each other very well, though.
Well, when he opened her car door and she was like, Chris, you're in the wrong car. And he was
that
like,
was amazing.
Oh, like she was pissed off at the situation.
She really was. I wonder why that was. Like, was it for interviews purposes or like were they going to different places? I didn't get that.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Like, why couldn't they be in the same car? Also, he didn't have a lot of stuff. He seemed to have packed very quickly.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't there that long, was he? Maybe 5 days?
We can't tell. I really wish I could get like at the end of the
timeline
season. You know how they will release like the last 2-minute report for every NBA game? I wish we could get like at the end of Paradise, like a TikTok of everything, like a box score and like a play-by-play kind of thing.
Does everything happen in chronological order? Yeah.
No,
so like that's
definitely not. They're definitely fucking with it.
So that's the other thing where I'm like, what if Natasha and Brendan were like cool for, 10 days and then Pieper came?
I mean, I think that is what happened.
Yeah.
Like, I think that it was like a while before Pieper went, but I don't know.
Well, the previews for next week, it looks like the girls that don't have guys go after Brendan. Like, it seems like Demi's just there to make any sort of drama happen.
Yeah, I think that she probably knows that will keep her around and she'll keep getting invited back. So, that's fine.
Well, it was also like it looked like it was like rose ceremony night maybe. So she's like going home anyways, probably. So might as well throw Brendan and Pieper under the bus while we're at it.
On the Monday night episode, I think that Kendall and Pieper come in at the same time because when Pieper comes in, Kendall's wearing the same outfit that she was wearing when she first talks to Joe, like on the side of on the daybed or whatever. They just definitely messed with the timeline, which I don't blame them for. Like, that's fine. They're making a TV show, but that definitely like, it makes it confusing when like Marissa's crying about, like, is she saying like literally 5 days ago or is it like a metaphorical 5 days ago? Like, who knows?
Also, speaking of Kendall, I feel like, that whole thing just was like, whatever, because there was so much more stuff that happened, but that was the beginning of episode on Monday.
Yeah. And by the end of it, I like completely forgot. I think part of that is Kendall's like a really mild person. Like she seems nice. She seems fine. But
she doesn't
bring the drama
next week. But
that's true. That's
true.
But
I also think it's like Joe handled it as like perfectly as you can.
It's on her for saying why she's still there.
Yeah. Also, he was like pretty honest with her. He was honest with Serena. Like, I mean, what are you going to do? You can't make drama out of someone who's like doing the least like drama filled action.
I know. It's funny. He's most valuable as like a narrator and now someone to confront Chris, which is shocking.
Gosh. That scene was nuts.
Well, it really fits like what happened with Thomas and everything. These people just gang up on each other now. It's like the way the show is going.
I mean, yeah, because it seems like Demi was like, Brendan's sitting over there and we're coming after him next. And I was like, just leave them alone, okay? Like, they annoyed me too, but like, let's move on. We're past it. Why are we going backwards? They should have done it when Natasha came back from the conversation with him. Like, I just feel like it's being dragged on too long.
Yeah. I feel bad for Natasha. If I were her, as I've said many times, but if I were her, I'd be like, she says this, but I'd be like, why is everyone standing out for Jessenia, not for me? I would just be like, where the fuck's my support? And I would be really mad.
Yeah, wouldn't that give you like a little bit of a
I think I don't think I would have that self-awareness in the moment.
Why is that? Do you have that self-awareness now to be like, that's interesting that they're sticking up for Jessenia, not Natasha?
Yeah, it makes me think they like Jessenia more than Natasha.
I think Natasha's like a fine, like, previous to this whole thing, like, she seems like a really nice girl. She's really pretty. She's really great. Smart. Yeah.
Great style.
Cute. Like, I can't say anything bad about her. So I'm like, I think people also like Natasha. I just think they also were like, come on, it's a different situation. We all knew about this. We told you. We warned you. No one warned Jessenia.
I feel like you're a real tough love kind of person. You're just like, you knew this was going to happen.
Do I feel badly that it's not going the way that she wanted to? Sure. I feel like if she was like, wow, this really sucks. Did he lead me on? Yeah, but I also should have just listened to what people were telling me.
It's true. Well,
I would be like, yeah, that really sucks. You kind of wasted your time.
Haven't you wasted your time on a guy thinking it would be one thing that it's another?
Have I? Are you kidding me? I mean, a million times. Thank God my life wasn't filmed. But
I know. Seriously, as we talk about this, like beat by beat, I'm just like, God, I would handle all of this so badly and I would be so embarrassed for myself. So
see, like I would think if there's a camera, I don't cry really in front of people. So I can't imagine. Like on camera, I think I would handle it way better than off camera. Like in actual life, I'm sure I would not make good decisions. On camera, I would be like, no one is going to see me crying over them. No one is going to make me think, or like, no one's going to think that I like someone more than they like me. Like, I'm not going to be a dummy. Like, I'm not doing that on camera.
Did you ever watch The City, the spinoff of The Hills with Whitney Port?
No. Yes.
I think it was on The City. It might have been on The Hills. Callie Curry, their boss. She's like, if you're gonna cry, go outside. Best advice ever. Don't let anyone see you cry. It's great stuff, Callie Curry. Yeah. So words to live by. The opposite of paradise.
That would be me. So,
paradise is if you're gonna cry, find a camera.
And you know what? I think that if it weren't Natasha, I think if it were someone else, I probably would have like way more sympathy and feel worse. I just think Natasha's actually like a very bright, normal person. So I think my expectations of her are like much higher than like majority of the people on the beach. So I'm like, Natasha, you knew what you were getting yourself into. Does it suck? Yeah, it still sucks. But like, we can't act like we're blindsided here because you're smart enough to know you weren't.
Sure. I just think she fell in the game and it came back to bite her, I guess. I guess we'll find out next week. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. I'm also thinking
maybe she's outsmarting us. And she's trying to get a pity rose because that's the only chance that she has for next week. It's smart.
Well,
like
I
didn't get like she's crying and she's like, my experience was so bad in the previews for next week. And I'm like, yeah, she's like, I haven't gotten a true chance. Like, someone please give me a rose because I haven't gotten a true chance. Which, by the way, she pulls it off. I'll take back a lot and say she's smarter than everybody, which I thought originally anyways.
I'm wondering who James will give his rose to. Like, James is obviously in the friend zone with everyone. And I'm just like, where's that rose going? I have no idea. Because I feel like everyone else's rose is kind of accounted for.
I think, yeah. I also think that they just need to put like a super sweet girl for James. Like he just needs a nice, sweet. I feel like that's what he needs, and they're not giving him what he needs.
Well, let's hope he can find it. I don't really know what James needs. I feel like all these guys, I'm just like, who are you people? I don't get them, but whatever.
You got to listen to like the random podcast they're on, because I feel like I know Thomas so much more after listening to that podcast.
I know, and it was great. Also, I was looking at pictures of Thomas this weekend. He was at a wedding. Seems like he's living his best life. All good. I'm curious to see which couples are still together. I really can't wait.
I do feel like Grocery Store Joe too.
Yes, I agree. But also, he's a podcast host, so if you want access to Grocery Store Joe, there's a lot available. That's the other thing I wanted to mention, by the way. Joe and Natasha host a podcast together. So when he was like, but you knew, they probably have like all the same info, right? So he probably knew about it. Plus, he's with Serena, so he probably knew a lot about it.
That, goes back to what I was saying. Doesn't excuse the behavior. It's more so just like, I'm not shocked it happened.
I really thought Brendan could have been the Bachelor. And so this is just shocking.
Ugh.
I really thought that like in a different world where he didn't end up with Pieper and Natasha, it could have happened for him. And now there's no way. Even if there's no one who made sense, him like laughing to someone off camera about how Natasha didn't have any other prospects made me so sad and so angry. And I just thought that was so cruel.
Yeah, I also feel like that, like you said, production has been on their A game this season. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know who asked him the question. I don't know how they framed it. I don't know who he was talking to, because it felt like they edited like just like that portion of like it wasn't his full thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like he was more so being like, I don't feel like I stopped her from anything. Like she wasn't interested in anyone else. No one else was interested in her. And like all they took was like, no one else was interested in her. And it was like, was that all that was said?
Yeah, I know. Well, we'll see how it plays out, I guess. This is just like great. I wish it was like all Paradise and none of the other shows. Like no Bachelor, no Bachelorette. Although I've heard Michelle's season's going to be really good. So I am looking forward to that.
I'm excited for that. To wrap up today, who are your top 2 favorite couples / think they're still together? Because we have to be like at least the halfway point, right?
I think so. Glad you brought that up. This is the last week of 2 episodes. Starting next week, it's on Tuesdays, and I think there's 4 more. It goes until October 12th, and then on
so we're past halfway.
Yeah, more than halfway. They really milked it. Got a lot of content. And so on that note, Bachelor Party will be coming out on Tuesday nights and Thursday mornings for the rest of 2021. My favorite couples, thanks for asking. Number 1, I think Riley and Marissa, just really into them. I hope they're still together. I don't know, but she just seems fun and he seems like a good boyfriend. So I hope for her that it's working out. And number 2, Noah and Abigail, they seem pretty good. I could see that. I don't think they're still together though. I feel like Abigail isn't really looking for a long-term relationship, even if she thinks she is.
Oh, interesting.
Who are yours?
Oh God, you just kind of changed my mind. I wanted to say, I think that Joe and Serena are still together.
I think so too.
And I was going to say, I think that Thomas and Becca.
They're cute.
Yeah.
I liked their conversation. I think she made him seem good too. Like
I was going to say Riley and Marissa too. Those are the 3.
We know that you stand hard for Thomas. You just can't quit him. He's your guy.
Yeah. I'm just really rooting for him. I hope he doesn't let me down.
Too. Thank you to Erika and Cervantes for producing this episode. We'll be back next week.
Adios.